here we are. We're gonna ask some questions that we got from the chat. Are you guys ready? We have a new person on the stream right now.
Rich.
Hi.
Tell us something about yourself.
Hi, I'm Richard. I'm on the production team in Hunt, and I was with the Op 4, the guys playing against our brave cosmonauts here. So
getting owned by.
Yeah, you know, a lot of our awesome QA team plays this game all the time, and they can absolutely bring it. So
anybody who makes games know that QA just clear everybody out.
For the people that were asking, by the way, QA are fine. The Butcher did tear them a new one. In fact, I think Andreas is in the room. Say hi, Andreas.
Hello, guys.
Yeah, so he's good.
Yeah, those guys might have been playing sometimes with an arm behind their back in the interest of being able to show some stuff. But.
Yeah, so the last Butcher fight was also, you wanted to see it, so we risked some stuff. In the real game, you're gonna plan more, or maybe hope that somebody else kind of goes in there first and try to fuck those guys.
We played like a couple of scrubs, honestly.
Yeah, so anyway, that was quite fun actually. Hope you had fun too.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, let's start with some questions.
Yes.
You want to get some questions? Do you want me to also have them on the stream so you can
or
the
say whatever you
video?
want.
Here. The first question, how many bosses are you planning?
We are not necessarily right now thinking about like the end planning of the bosses. So right now we have 2. Sounds very little, but our game is not really about the boss fights themselves. They are there to create the hotspot of action, right? We still have some things to do there, and so certain bosses work a little bit better than the other ones in terms of how to behave. And when we know a little bit, we have more data of that. We will drive out an array of bosses. Yeah. That's also when you guys will see concepts from that one, and we will ask your opinion on what boss you want to play. We already have some really cool ones, but first lock the cool, so we're 100% sure a system works, and then we're going to push through with those ones.
Okay. Are you going to take full advantage of high-end PCs?
So it's a topic, right? Like I play all my games, I play mods, and I don't give a shit about what they look like, man. Fucking flat terrains, all that stuff, I don't care. So at Crytek you have some standards you're trying to live up to. We're not really focusing on the super awesome looking things yet. It's the gameplay first. We're gonna see where that takes us, but we're more doing things where like we make sure that you can't uncheck stuff and all the grass disappears, and I can see some guy hiding in a bush that doesn't really exist, right? And the combat distances and stuff like this.
Performance is really important for us.
Now, after that one, the cooler we can do it for the people with a high PC on a PC, we're gonna do it for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean it's the smoothness of the combat and the movement is something that matters to players. You can have a competitive multiplayer game when performance is jittery, you're losing frames and the movement is sloppy. It needs to be smooth. It needs to be clean. It needs to be competitive. It needs to be good solid frame rate, and we're focusing on that primarily first before we start getting into the into the bells and whistles of all the graphical new things that we can add on top of that. So performance and gameplay first.
Awesome. I mean, a fitting second question. What is currently the bottleneck of the performance?
So anybody who see this game, they can see that it's lagging here and there, and it's just not optimized. We're playing a little bit of an older build here, and we have a team like the last sprint. Everybody was focusing on performance, creating loads and all that stuff, and we're going to get there too. And we have to work on draw distances and stuff like this, and how many characters we trigger and render them. Like we have a AI director that's supposed to help us when it gets in a little bit of better shape to activate and deactivate AI. I don't think it's like, I don't know, do you have any specific thing, or it's just a bunch of things? It's just classic old hard work to get there. Yeah. Now, we're not going to ship a game who runs on 24 frames, like maybe quite higher than that, but we just need to do a certain basic steps before we can define it a little bit better.
Yeah. Okay.
We have a complete list of what it is that we need to do. Right now it's just work. It's just going in there and putting the work in. So.
Okay. Will there be character customization?
So here's the thing. It was on our wish list. So this is like brutally honest, right? It was on a wish list. When we did it, when we started this game, we didn't have the manpower to do that, so we have a recruiting system instead. There's a few different takes on that one, so our guys die quite a lot. So you're doing your guy, and then he's gone forever, right? And then you get a new guy. But we also like to play in the end, and we don't have any dates on this, so I cannot promise anything. But we also want the players to have a bit of fun and create their own stuff. But right now we have a recruiting system, so we're going to stick with this recruiting system for quite a while until we do anything different with it.
Yeah. And I think,
Well, hold on. So on that hand, so people want a journey, right? Like you want to start as something and become something else. So it's classic survival games, right? You start looking off like a bit of an intern lost in the woods, and in the end you're ending up with a ghillie suit,
we
right?
actually call them interns too.
Yeah.
So we have like 3 tiers. I call them intern, cowboys, and manhunters, right? That's what we're doing right now. So you're gonna feel like you're progressing as you're doing it, but you're not gonna have you currently can't change hats or anything like that.
Yeah. I think it's also important that as we get the game out there, as people play it, they're going to be very vocal about the kinds of things that they want and they're interested
we're gonna
in.
listen to that stuff.
That's what we're going to base our decisions around. So we have a game right now at its core. I mean, you've seen what we have. You've seen the state it's in. We want to get this out, get people playing it, and then start figuring out, okay, what's important to you guys when you're playing it? What are the things we need to address? It's been our baby now for the period we worked on it, and then when we release it, will become your baby, and you need to tell us what it is that you want us to work on.
Exactly. Will the game be in VR?
Not at all.
Nope. I mean, I'm just asking.
This is a PC game. We have a smaller team on this. We're not going to spread it on everything. We need to get this game running on performance for everybody. It needs to be super clear, competitive PvP action. The AI needs to be more challenging. We're not going to start doing other stuff to take us away from that and delivering a shittier product, right?
Okay. Do the creatures have their own names or get their own
Yeah,
names?
we have some names.
Do you mean like Jim or like Bill
Yeah.
or do you mean like
Steve.
I don't know.
Steve.
So we have some working title names. We haven't really locked them for sure. And at one point, we're going to deliver more about the lore. So I don't want to release the working title names right now. They're going to come out later, and hopefully you can read a bit about them.
Definitely pay attention to us on Twitter. That's where a little bit of the lore is coming out right now. By the time it gets in your hands, you'll be able to take a deeper dive on some of the creatures in the game, some of the equipment they have. They've all got really kind of cool individual
Jim the
stories.
Butcher.
Yeah,
Jim the Butcher.
Okay, we just got a donation, and we just want to say thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank
Who?
you.
Thank
Who?
you.
Who are we thanking?
We
Yeah.
are thanking. I'm sorry, I'm like trying to do it. I think it might be the one from Luna. Yeah, it's the one from Lunatic Ma.
Oh, Lunatic Valdemar. Valdemar, thank you, sir.
Thanks, Valdemar.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we donated Valimar, so anyone else, if any company people are watching, you guys need to
Exactly.
give
you
some
need
cash
to
for those kids.
Or
drop
we will
the
donate
cash.
Valdemar to someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
kid.
Yeah.
this is one that's kind of related to the customization, but are there any plans for a Steam workshop for in-game reskins?
Ooh.
I don't think we've really discussed that
Yeah,
yet.
actually, I don't think that's come up. I mean, as CJ said, all these ideas are great. We do take a look at all of them. So I mean, if implementing Steam Workshop way down the road after we have our kind of roadmap on the
I think again it will come down to what is the demand for that.
right. I mean,
community-wise.
yeah, game like we're gonna polish that game, make it the experience.
Wasn't there
we
some
want, and-
insectal comment on there somewhere? I think you deleted the second question, the insect.
We've seen a lot of
Insectile.
insect.
And it was a lower mentions
Oh,
with
yeah.
a certain translation. Are there more? What?
Are there more notable boss and monster variations that stray away from
Yeah,
an
so
insect
all our
armor?
bosses, all our creatures, so we have like a little circle of life there where the grunts, so Plague Came to Town is like a little concept we have, right? It infects the people there, they break down in the bodies, but they basically just become like a bag of nutrition, right? Then they're gonna seek like a darker spot to kind of hive and cocoon. This is like the armor you might have seen. He's like in the state of cocooning, and then he's gonna break out when he hear you coming closer and all that stuff. So the insectoid theme comes a lot away, and from him spawns all kinds of specials, right? Like the meathead, he has no head, and he's being consumed by leeches. So kind of like if you step on a leech, he hears you and comes stomping. The hive is like her chest is being burst out with a hive structure, which sends out some kind of storm of insects towards you, and all kinds of other stuff, right? So everything's gonna follow the same theme. We kind of make abominations from hell with human and something from the region. Currently, it's insects, right? And we're gonna stick with that.
Awesome. And we just got another 25 donation from Samuel Lee. So
Hey, thanks.
awesome. Is there any hope for destructible environments, such as being able to blow bridges?
Cool. I mean, I'm not sure perhaps on the scale of entire structures being detonated, but we did have early on the desire to have more destructibility. Specifically, we had things like those bosses that you saw, the Butcher, for example, could move around, could break through some of the walls inside there just to make it a bit more dynamic.
Yeah.
That was something that got put on hold, not shelved, that it's not necessarily been cut or canned or anything like that. It's just we wanted to direct our focuses on some other more important things. Again, if that's something that people think is particularly interesting for the game, then I think we can.
But also, like, gameplay first, right? So, not just for the fluff of it.
Yeah,
So,
it needs to be relevant.
first gameplay, get the performance up and running, get that smooth, get the shooting experience cool. And then also, like, part of the shooting experience is, like, destruction on enemies, right? We actually have it, but we don't really see it, and we have to look at it kind of like, why on earth do I not see it?
That's true, yeah.
I'm shooting legs and arms off and stuff like this, but nobody sees it. Part of our dark visuals there, so but we have to see what we're going to do with it. But we're not just going to spam it with so if it turns it's really awesome gameplay with that bridge because it may be part of a compound something that could be something, but gameplay first, shooting experience, and then we're going to see what fluff we can add on top.
Oh, we got 3 donations. We got another one from Nolan, one from Diablox, and one from Death Game.
Wow,
Nice,
guys,
thanks,
thanks. Awesome.
Keep it going.
Yeah,
We're
keep it going.
almost
That's
at
amazing.
200th of our goal right now. Oh, another 15. I wonder. Wow, you guys are going ham.
Yeah.
Awesome.
More. Come on, guys.
We want more for the kids.
We were thinking about getting little clippings of Magnus's beard and putting them into
Yeah,
bags.
we donate those, yeah.
Yeah.
I will never
Yeah.
cut these.
You showed the night version of this map. What about the day version that was shown as IGN?
The last version of the map so far. What about the day?
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. So we plan to do 50-50 day, but again, man, this is early access, and as we went on there, we had some problem with some technology and the shadow cache, and it ruined the look to a point that I wasn't cool with. So the day looks pretty cool actually. But now we thought like, okay, sorry, we play night only, and the next time. So here's another thing, right? This is the first stream, and as I said, it's gonna be raw, it's gonna be honest, and we're gonna do weekly streams of some sort. And then of course, as we get those bugs fixed, we're gonna show it in different lighting as well. So you just have to wait a bit.
Just hang out. The daytime's really awesome. That's
Daytime is awesome too, because it just changes the entire gameplay, right? Like
Yeah.
that's what it is.
I the more you play, like I get more scared of the day because that's when players can see me.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Awesome. The original hunt was a 4-player co-op. Any chance we still see that in this version?
No. So with the old game, it wasn't a bad game at all, right? But it wasn't a high tension game. Our game is based on high tension. It's like we can risk everything and stuff like this. That was a third-person game. It was cool, but there was cool aspects with 4 players, but has very little to do what we do here, right? And for me, it's like we have a 10-player budget right now. That we're going to stick with, and if I can gather up with 4, then my enemies just become less, right? So 5 teams, 2 in each, or 10 single player guys, right? Or 3 teams and 4 single player guys, right? That's what we're going for. And there's a team bonus if you extract with your buddy, but you don't get anything if you become friends for a match, because this is a match, right? This game takes 20, 30, 40 minutes, and then you're out.
Awesome. We've seen 1 game mode so far. Any plans for other significant mode changes, mutators, modifiers to the
Yes,
recipe?
it is, because we want to maximize the use out of this map. We have like a region system. You didn't really see it now in its full kind of thing. It's got a 1 boss, so the whole map was like unlocked, and then you kind of you locked it down, the boss's locations. But we also play with 2. Right, stuff like this. So this was 2 bosses, right? But that system in general is very flexible for creating modes in it. Then again, we're gonna do 1 good, and then we're gonna shoot some ideas and then talk to the community and see which way they want to go with it.
Yeah. We put quite a lot of effort into when we're building the levels and stuff into the spaces being replayable, so they're not the same each time. Which, for example, the AI spawns and other stuff will be randomized and things like this. And
Even if the boss is in a compound, it could be multiple places too. So you can't speed run in there, kill him, and get out, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's lots of kind of modes and ideas for things we've discussed, and things come up like, okay, what if you're hunting another player in there, or doing all kinds of. There's many different layers of things that we could potentially add to this. But again, it will come down to we get this game out there, we see what people like, and
yeah.
go with that.
I mean, so because the beginning of this will be tune this with your guys' feedback, right? And then as soon as we can, of course, we want to test some other stuff as well.
Okay. Will there be female bounty hunters?
Yes, there will be female bounty hunters. The original plan was like hunters around the globe, and I had like 2 sets of women and 2 sets of guys. We started with a cowboy, and then the time ran out. We had to restructure a little bit and focus a few times actually. And then we said, you know what, let's just make one good now. The second one coming is going to be a set of women, and make them as cool as we can.
Yeah, I would like to see some badass women.
Yeah.
Gotta get them woman. Okay, I'll add 2 more questions from the chat and then we'll do all of these and then we're done. Is it possible to go negative in this game if someone has a terrible losing streak?
No, it's not.
Okay.
That was that?
That was it. Sure.
Comment on how we deal with it, but no.
How many different types of weapons will be available?
Okay. And where was my list? But anyway. Anyway, we have a shitload of weapons, right? So,
It's on the back of the
Let's get this
that's
nuts.
absolutely not there.
No,
So-
not that one.
Oh,
I'll just hand
okay. It doesn't matter. So, because the reason why this is like up in the air a little bit is because like we make cuts all the time. We also have heavy deadlines, right? And we're having something we want in, but then again, certain things happen. We had to reschedule. So every now and then it kind of changes, right? But it's like, make no mistake that you grind for weapon gears and gadgets. That's what you do. And are we going to push and making a huge list of those things, right? Question is just like when, or like what stuff do we go out with in the beginning, right? And right now we're going to come up with a shorter list, but we're trying to still make it worth like leveling up and unlocking. So here's like 9 pistols, 12 rifles, 8 shotguns, some melee weapons, 3 slingshots, 7 tools, 9 consumables, world items, 16 trays, and all that stuff. But as I said, early access, we're gonna keep updating, right? That's the stuff that's gonna come very fast. We're gonna release batch after patch after patch and make an arsenal there.
I mean, we have that list on hand because it's one of the questions that always comes up for that stuff, and it's important to remember that list might go up, it might go down, but you know, the idea is that we want to keep giving people more content, more things to do, more things to play, more things to unlock.
And more like troll stuff, because right now we're having like the base arsenal, and we had to cut away some stuff we really liked and put them off. And when I say putting off, it doesn't mean like this 5 months later. It could be just 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, right? But more troll mechanic stuff to use to fuck with the other guys, and especially more like trip monster stuff that doesn't necessarily kill the players, because that's one thing, but more like reveal their position, right? Like when I'm protecting one of those compounds, and if I can make a trip mount with a light going off when Andreas tried to sneak in, that would be awesome, right? And all kinds of stuff like that. So yeah, so we have like a lot of cool ideas there. However, it's always, man, the cool ideas always take a little bit longer. So first get the bread and butter up, and then inject a little bit more specials.
Okay. What are the anti-cheat plans?
We have anti-cheat plans, but with something we don't particularly want to go into right now, just because it's a little early for us to kind of go into details on that, and it's also we don't really want to talk about the network security before the game is even out.
It's definitely something we're prioritizing, something that we know we need to have, that and we will have it. It's just the details on that.
It's something we know is important to everyone, and it's something that we will deal with.
Okay.
Somebody say, I saw the text that somebody complained that I said soon. Yeah, skip soon. We're gonna come back with a plan, and you guys are gonna be able to look at that plan, and you're gonna see where it is.
I say before Half-Life 3.
Somewhere,
Yeah, I would say
Anyway,
so.
we're gonna try to be as transparent as possible, but things move very fast, right? And it's like not easy to kind of give you an exact date right now.
Yeah. There is a recruit option, but you have to but you have the retire option as well. What does that do? I have a general idea, but can you explain more?
Currently, how it goes is that you can level up your hunter if he survives to rank 50, right? And then you can actually retire him and get some extra bonuses and stuff out of that if you want to. The retire button is a little bit of a controversy, but more than that one, I'm not going to go into right now.
Okay.
We're thinking a little bit what we're going to do with it.
I just read that someone is asking right now is how do you get a beard like that?
You must be talking to me.
Yeah, I thought that was, no man, you well, you eat a lot of schnitzel in Germany, and that's how it's
praying to Thor. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah,
How do we
says
get to
retire
help?
prestige system. Exactly, like we have a prestige system plan as well, so you can loop actually. But that's is also like your bloodline versus your hunter, right? You have to think like that in our game. When your hunter lives a little bit, and then you can kill him, but you as a bloodline progress always. So if your hunter, you buy him some shotguns or some new cool brass knuckles or something, right? And when he dies, you still have unlocked that, and you can buy that. That's what kind of always progresses, right? And this is also where the prestige system comes in later.
So someone really wanted to know, how do we get access to help Crytek with the beta?
So right now we're not gonna. I'm not gonna avoid the word soon. But we are working out a exactly what we're gonna start with first, because we have to do certain things, stress testing and stuff like this, right? Before we just say boom. But as soon as we can, we're gonna introduce you, and I'm told we're gonna release a schedule very soon. That word again, but where you guys will see where it is, and then we're gonna work with you.
So what that means for you guys is make sure you follow us on Twitter, follow us on Twitch,
Join our
go
Discord.
to our website, sign up to our letter, join the Discord, get involved, and as soon as we have those details, you'll be the first to know.
Can we play as the boss and kill the hunters? No, can't play as the boss.
Yes, I am ready for ramen.
I'm ready.
I'm ready in my blood for some ramen.
Was that the entire map? It looks a bit small for 10 players or 2 bosses.
It's not small. It's
Denied.
yeah. It's denied. Don't ask that again.
I mean, so that was, you're seeing what we have right now. It's a big 1 square kilometer map. So again, we've playtested this level internally now for a really, really long time. On a daily basis, we play this. There are 15 compounds / POIs in there. There's multiple times a day. There's replayability in terms of AI composition, spawning items and other stuff that's in there. There's a lot of extra stuff that goes in there to try to make that space feel...
I mean, yeah, and also we started with 6 players, but we just thought like it's just sometimes you play a game, and if you have 2 bosses, then one team goes to one boss, 2 goes to the other one, so the one team don't meet anybody. It's like, eh.
Yeah.
So 10 players was cooler. That's what we all thought, so we went for it.
It definitely felt like the game was more. The tension of it just goes up when you have other human minds, you know, in the level, kind of coming up with weird and wonderful things to do, and you know, trolling each other and figuring out what's going on and trying to hunt each other and all that kind of weird stuff. So that makes it just much more interesting.
Especially when it's a variable and you're not sure who's left, how many are left, if somebody's left. Like
Lisa New Car says, "Tell Fassi I blame him for not being here."
Yeah.
Shame the young man.
Yeah.
I wish I had the bell. Shame.
So Fassi is gonna have his own little stream before we know it. So
Yeah.
so cool.
Fassi Cyan Hour or something.
We're gonna do dev streams too, and then we're gonna go for different departments, and then you guys can ask that stuff.
Okay, so we have asked most of the questions for now. We'll be doing more questions later for the second segment. We're gonna have Overwatch now with Rick, so we're gonna take a short break. And then Rick will be back.
We gotta apologize to Rick for running 30 minutes over, but
I mean, I'm sure they'll understand. I'm sure the chat is happy
People
that
seem
we
to like Fassi.
took some extra time. But
I like him too.
yeah, if you want to check some questions now, you can look at the past broadcasts if you want to hear them answered, and otherwise there will be more questions later. So thank you very
guys,
much.
and
Thank you.
more donations.
And exactly,
Yeah, donate to them
more
kids.
money for the kids. Okay, this is an important matter that we're 24-hour live streaming for. I'm staying awake till the early hours for the kids. So you guys do something about it. Thank you.
Anyway, thanks.
And we'll see you guys later.
Thanks, guys.